Hi students and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here on the west coast of Canada. Welcome everybody. In this class we are looking at IELTS speaking part 1 and we're focusing on strategies to get that band 9 result. Welcome Shucks Zoda, hi Jaineel, hi Carolina, welcome our moderator. Arda, welcome to our members. This lesson, everyone, is presented to you by aehelp.com. That's academicenglishhelp.com. If you're taking the academic IELTS, it's definitely a great idea to check out that website. And for general IELTS, check out gieltshelp.com. And I will show you where you can get some speaking help for the speaking interview on these websites. All right. So this is our academic IELTS website here at aehelp.com. You can click this big red button to join our premium package. We are an official British Council IELTS test registration center. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access, and when you get the access, you'll have this My Student account. And in your My Student account, you have computer-based practice exams, lesson videos, an interactive course. And you have these functions here. It's the student partner speaking and the speaking interview practice. And this first one is absolutely free. So you can find other IELTS students to practice your speaking with. You just click on that. And then you can go to this other page here where you will find other students to video and audio chat with. Right now we have Uzman, Mani, and Niyaz in here. So that's for you, okay? Ariane, I will definitely give you some tips so you can get a nice high band for your exam tomorrow. Welcome Satish, hi Rumi, hi Aman over at General English Help. Good to have you on board as well. For the general IELTS, check out this website here at gieltshelp.com. It's the green background and you can click that big red button to join us there. Again, it's a one-time payment for lifetime access, so it's well worth it. Okay, everyone, so today, again, we're doing speaking. To get our apps, go to your app store, get Academic IELTS Help, General IELTS Help, and if you have questions, send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com. Now, we have classes all week, so tomorrow we will have Task 2 Writing. Let me get this in the screen a little bit better. There we go. So tomorrow we'll have writing and reading. Okay, and I think somebody was mentioning, yeah, it looks like the class is at a different time. That's because we just had daylight savings. So we had daylight savings here on Sunday, and our clocks were turned back 1 hour. So for those of you who don't have daylight savings, you're like, what? Class time is at a different time, but that's because of daylight savings, okay? All right, so, and then we'll have more classes. We'll have writing, grammar, more speaking in the week, and hopefully we'll be bringing you some new and different styles of classes as well this week, okay? So Arda says, yeah, it was 5, now it's 6 p.m. Absolutely, Arda. Yeah, that's daylight savings. Okay. So this is a speaking class, everyone. That means that you need to speak, okay? I want you to speak. Copy what I say, repeat me, okay? Repetition is practice, okay? It's definitely not the only way to learn how to speak, and it's not the most effective way to learn to speak, but it's a good way to practice. So just repeat what I say. Copy my intonation, copy my pronunciation, my enunciation, so just the flow of my English. For those of you who are curious, again, I'm on the west coast of Canada. West Coast North America has kind of a style of English. So if you visit Vancouver, Los Angeles, San Francisco, San Diego, Seattle, you're going to kind of find this style of English that you're listening to right now with me. Okay, so it's nice. It's a nice, clean, crisp English pronunciation. People tend to understand it quite easily around the world. So definitely practice it, copy it. Okay, and let's get into some speaking. So IELTS speaking interview. You want to show up early to your exam. You want to practice with other candidates before the start of your interview. Take some questions with you. And then you go and register 20 minutes before your interview. And then you get called in for your interview. Okay? So when you get called into your interview, of course you have to take usually your passport. In some countries you can use your national ID or your driver's license. And then the examiner will ask you this first question to make sure that you are you. May I see your identification? So give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. May I see your identification? Okay, let's just get into it and I'll give you tips and strategies as we go along. Okay. Mi Yen says, gladly, this is the ID that I used for registration a couple of weeks ago. Please have a look. Very good, Mi Yen. I like your original start, gladly. Yeah, gladly is a nice way to start that response. Absolutely. Okay. All right. Dovlud Beck says, yes, here you go. Dovlud Beck, that's a bit too simple. Okay, especially for this kind of a professional setting. And so Atmal, of course, please, is actually not clear English. So, of course, please, it's like, of course, please, what? Of course, please have a look. English speakers, Mal, would finish that sentence. So they would say, of course, please have a look. Of course, please would be like, please what? Okay. Bakrat says, certainly, here it is. Please take a look. Yeah, Bakrat, so that would be absolute minimum, okay? John Williams says, yep, just a second. I will take it out. Here you go. Please have a look. Okay, John, that's good. You're showing some fluency, but that start of yep, okay? So I'll give you some tips here that will help you score better for your IELTS exam. Okay, so here's an important tip, and I can see that some of you are confused by this, okay? So even though you have to show natural language in the IELTS speaking interview, you also need to show professional communication. Okay, and I'm going to underline this and then give you some clarity on this, because I think there's a lot of confusion on the actual formality or the style of speaking. It's a little bit confusing, and I can empathize. So I can empathize with you. I understand why you feel that way, okay? So let's take this first question for me to show you this. So may I see your identification? Yep. Here you go. Versus what Mi Yen did. Okay, so here's two versions of answering this question, okay? May I see your identification? First person says, yep, here you go. Two mistakes here. One is it's not fluent enough, okay, for a professional situation. And the two is it's awkwardly informal. Like, I wouldn't talk like that to, just a second here. Sorry. Just get the screen back on. I just realized that went dark for a second. But anyway, so I definitely wouldn't talk like that in a professional situation, okay? I wouldn't talk like that in a job interview, for example, all right? And then here's the other version. Gladly, here's my passport. Please take a look at my credentials. Immediately, there's a better show of vocabulary. There's more fluency, and it's a lot more formal. It's still natural, but it's a lot more formal. Okay, so Mozam, sure, here you are. Again, it's too simple. So I'll show you which are the ones that I would consider not bad, but less effective. Okay, so yep, here you go. I'll make a quick list here for you so you know, and then you won't be confused. Okay, so okay, and then more effective are these ones here, like this style here. Okay, so gladly, here's my passport. Please take a look at my credentials. Okay, so here are the big differences. Okay, so may I see your identification? The less effective way to answer this question are, yep, here you go, or sure, here it is, or yes, here, please, or okay. And the more effective ways to answer these questions, and again, repeat after me, okay, is gladly, here's my passport, please take a look at my credentials. Certainly, here's my ID that I used to register for the exam. Definitely, please take a look at my ID card. This is what I used for registering and signing in just a few minutes ago. Okay, these are a lot more fluent. They contain much better vocabulary right away. And, you know, I hear sometimes candidates saying, oh, but they don't mark me on these first few questions. That's not true, okay? They are judging your speaking from the very moment you start to say words, okay? They will start to get an idea of your fluency, of your communication level, okay, or your communicative ability, all right? Okay, so IU, yes, sure, here's my passport, would be the absolute minimum, okay? All right. All right. United Kerala. Yeah, good. I hope you got a great score there. Okay, so the next question, and again, try to think about this. So think of good communication. Think about it in your own language. If you're talking to somebody in an important position, you're talking to the prime minister, the president of your country, or the king of your country, and you're answering this question, how would you answer it, right? So, what is your full name? Give me a nice full sentence answer for this one, all right? Okay, Tasfia, that's off topic. Aryan says, my given name is Zahinul Hakye and surname is Aryan. Please call me Aryan. Aryan, it's not bad. My given names. If you're giving two names, make sure you use the plural. My given names are. Okay. And Nguyen says, my full name is Nguyen Ho Hung. Please just call me Anne for short. Again, but you can call me is a bit awkward in a professional setting, okay? Please just call me is a little bit more polite. It's a little bit more natural, okay? Arda says, my given name is Arda and my surname is Gurbaz. Please just call me Arda. Okay, that's good. Jyoti says, my given names are Jyoti and Harish. Harish being my middle name, and my surname is Kumar. Please just call me Jyoti. Yeah, very good. I like how you clarified what your middle name is, okay? That's very, very good. Yeah. Yeah. Anisha says, my full name is Anisha Basak. Please call me Anisha. Yeah, that's the minimum. Absolutely. So, my first name, or I should say, given name, is Lindsay. And my middle name, that also appears in my passport, is Franklin, after my father. And my family name is Samson. Please just call me Lindsay. Okay. All right. Now, if you're showing fluency, sure. Why not? Be fluent. Okay. Be communicative. So it's not the examiner that needs to show you that they can speak English and be fluent with questions. It's you that needs to show that you're fluent. So ideally, you're doing most of the talking and you're being fluent. Okay. So here we go. What is your full name? My first name, or I should say my given name, is Lindsay. And my middle name, that also appears in my passport, is Franklin, after my father. And my family name is Samson. Please just call me Lindsay. Okay? A lot of people take a name after their father or their grandfather. You can mention that, okay? Be proud of that. So why not, right? Okay? Hoang Duk says, I tried to say just like you about my name, but the examiner interrupted. Hoang, it's probably because you weren't fluent enough. And if the examiner interrupted me when I'm introducing myself, which is very rude, they shouldn't be doing that, then I would actually just politely continue. So I would just say, oh, I'm sorry. As I was just saying, my middle name is Franklin, like my father. And my family name is Samson. Please call me Lindsay. Okay? So, if in the rare situation, now I say this with caution, right? But if you feel like the examiner is trying to rush you, if they're not paying attention to your responses, this is where it becomes especially important that you're confident and that you're collected, and especially if you believe that you understand the question and you're not going off topic and you're being original, that you finish the question, okay? This is a really important point. So I hear this often from students, okay? So students will often say, but when I'm trying to be fluent, the examiner interrupts me. It feels terrible. What should I do? Okay. So here are a few really important points for you to take with you into your next exam, and it will help you to score better. Okay. So if you feel that the examiner is interrupting you, even though You are A, on topic, B, original, okay, and C, fluent. Then you should be confident, stick to your answer, and set the pace of the interview. You will get a good band. Okay? So what happens, students, is usually the examiners will interrupt candidates if you're going off topic. If I ask you what your name is and you start telling me that your dog's name is Sparky, yeah, I'm going to interrupt you. I asked about your name, not about your dog's name, Sparky, okay? Or not about your cat's name, Alfredo, okay? I asked about your name. So if you're off topic, yeah, I'm going to interrupt you, all right? So you have to recognize that. If you're being unoriginal, okay? So if you start saying something like, thank you for giving me a chance to introduce myself. My name is, okay? That's awkward, okay? Then I know that you're just going on something that you read in a book or you saw in a YouTube video where somebody's like, oh, you can get more points if you add in this kind of a phrase like, thank you so much for having me here today. It's a pleasure to be able to introduce myself. My first name is. Then I'll be like, okay, let's go to the first question, right? Like, I don't want to sit here and listen to you recite what you learned from a YouTube video, right? But if you're introducing yourself and you're being original, I'm not going to interrupt you, okay? And if you're fluent, so the other time that the examiner will interrupt you is if you're not being fluent. So if you're like, my name, they call me, I'm Tom, and my family, my surname is, then I'm going to interrupt you because I need to see if you can maybe produce better language when I ask you some other questions, okay? But if you're being fluent, then I'm not going to interrupt you. So if you say nice and fluently, my first name, or I should say given name is Lindsay, and my middle name that also appears in my passport is Franklin after my father, and my family name is Samson. Please just call me Lindsay. When I took the IELTS exam, the official IELTS exam incognito in February, I got a band 9 in speaking and I was fluent just like this, and the examiner did not interrupt me, okay? They realized that, okay, I'm just being fluent, communicative, professional. It's fine, all right? Okay? So sometimes the examiners, they have so many candidates that they don't know anymore when somebody is actually a good user of the English language. So you have to show them that. You have to be like, hey, don't, I'm going to be original. Don't worry. I'm going to stay on topic. Please let me finish my sentences. Okay? All right. Okay, so then the examiner will say, all right, I'll ask you some questions to get to know you a bit better, some questions on a general topic. Why are you taking IELTS? Okay. So here's a possible question that the examiner could throw at you. I'm often curious of why people are taking the IELTS exam. There are so many fantastic stories and dreams and ambitions. So why are you taking the IELTS? Okay, Mamta says, I just want to improve my English and I also want to check my level of English according to a standard exam so I can think about my further study abroad. Okay. All right, Mian says, I'm taking the IELTS exam because I want to work as an English teacher in the future. Okay. Not only do I learn to improve my English, but there are many English institutions that also require their teachers to have high band scores in the IELTS. That's why I'm here. Okay, Mien, it's kind of repetitive, so be careful about that. Okay, Azizbek Chineyere, I'm also watching the general English, so if you have an answer, please put that up there. Anisha says, I wish to pursue my master's abroad, which is why I'm appealing for an IELTS exam. Anisha, what master's? Okay, give me some details, right? Like master's in microbiology, master's in civil engineering, medical sciences. So what do you plan to do your master's in? Okay. Muxlisa, okay, I'm correcting everybody in real time. So if you hear me and I'm not reading the exact same words that you have, it's because I'm correcting your English. I'm making it either more natural, I'm improving the grammar, perhaps I'm changing some words so that it sounds better. So Muxlisa 100%, Boy Murodiva. Here's a bit of a correction, okay? So listen for this. The primary aim for me to take the IELTS is to gain admissions to university in order to find a well-paying job with generous benefits in the future, okay? That would be the more accurate way to answer that, all right? Hobbit Frodo says, my university gives an opportunity to study abroad for a semester for an exchange program, and one of the mandatory requirements is to have high results on the IELTS exam. Of course, because you're representing your university, Frodo. So that's good, okay? All right, very nice. So why are you taking the IELTS? All right, this is kind of something that I said when I took the IELTS exam, and this is why I encourage IELTS trainers and examiners to take the IELTS exam. It's amazing for me that there are so many IELTS trainers and educators in the world on YouTube and elsewhere. They talk about the IELTS, they teach the IELTS, but they've never actually taken the IELTS. And I don't think it's good enough to just be an examiner or just know English or English teaching. I think it's a great idea to sit the IELTS exam. So if there are IELTS teachers out there watching this, I highly encourage you to sit your IELTS exam once or twice incognito to get the experience. There are some out there who have done that. This is something that I said to the IELTS examiner. So here we go. Just repeat after me. Why are you taking IELTS? My reasons for sitting this test are to gain insight into the student experience so that I can enhance my IELTS training for years to come. Okay. All right. And then maybe the examiner might be curious about what you're going to do tomorrow. Okay. So they'll go, okay. And what will you do tomorrow? If you don't know, make it up, right? So be creative during your IELTS speaking interview. Okay. Yeah, Mal, you can say my intention or intentions, sure. So what are you going to do tomorrow? This one here is already fishing for that future participle will. Okay. English doesn't actually have a future tense. We use the participle will. Not many languages actually have a future tense. All right. So what will you do tomorrow? All right. Give me a nice full sentence exam or answer here. Rajveer says, the day before yesterday was my speaking and the examiner was the best. I don't have any words to describe her. Rajveer, I'm glad that you had a positive experience. Obviously, she didn't interrupt you unnecessarily, right? That's always difficult. Okay. Chinyere says, it is to upgrade my English language in order to secure employment in Canada as a consultant. What kind of a consultant, Chinyere? Muhammad says, I will be sleeping. Muhammad, and you're laughing. Muhammad, it's okay to say that you're going to be sleeping, explain why. So you can say, I am terribly exhausted from all of the stress and study leading up to this exam. So most likely tomorrow I will spend the day resting and sleeping. I plan to take at least a 3-hour siesta in the afternoon. Okay, so Mohammed, it's okay to say I plan to sleep tomorrow, but explain why. All right. Skylar Lai says, after the exam, it's likely that I will be exhausted, so I intend to sleep all day long tomorrow. Yeah, Skylar, very good. So there you're giving a reason. Okay, it's much, much better. Morna says, tomorrow will be a happy and peaceful day. I will no longer study or prepare for IELTS, so I can't wait to go to the cinema with my boyfriend for some fun and entertainment. Very good, Morna. Yeah, so think about the tomorrow. Bakrat says, well, there's nothing special about tomorrow. I have a lecture of MPU from 7 to 12 with half an hour break. Then I will visit a sports store to buy a pair of shoes because I need some new sneakers. Okay, that's a pretty special day. I always enjoy day. In fact, I just got a new pair of running shoes yesterday. That's not a word of a lie. Some New Balance shoes, okay? So, tomorrow I'm going to take a day off in order to unwind and have some fun with friends, as I feel that I deserve it after all the effort I had put into preparing for this test. Perhaps I will go to play billiards or some football. All right. So, yeah, there we go. Notice the paraphrasing. Of course, I think all of you know that there are two ways to present the future with the future participle will or going to. Definitely try to paraphrase. So say concepts with synonyms in different ways, okay? So what will you do tomorrow? Tomorrow, I'm going to take a day off in order to unwind and have some fun with friends, as I feel that I deserve it after all the effort I had put into preparing for this test. Perhaps I will go to play billiards or some football. That could be fun. All right. Good job, everyone. So, again, answer, explain, example, professional communication. That's your goal. Okay. All right. Okay, and then the examiner will introduce a topic, a general topic. Okay. They'll say something like, let's talk about restaurants. Okay, now, for nice high marks, as soon as you hear something like restaurants, okay, you should bring up some words, some vocabulary, some ideas that are connected to restaurants. And so when we think about restaurants, what kind of words come to mind quickly? Okay. Right? And I put the word some because it's natural. We say that in natural English. We'll say, I'll play some football or I'll play some billiards. Okay. All right, so there we go. Delicious, hungry, dinner, diner. Okay, delicious, dinner, diner. Okay. Menu. We don't say menu card, just menu. Okay. Drash tiraj, not menu card, just menu. Okay. Scrumptious, moonlight. Very good. Scrumptious. It's another way to say delicious. Cuisine. Natasha, very good. I think maybe some of you have said to eat out. Okay. Means to go to a restaurant. Mouth-watering, sure. Mouth-watering food. Serve, yeah. Waiter, waitress, server. Okay, very nice. Very good. Okay. Ambience, delicacy, expensive. Fine dining. Okay. You might think of something like special events, birthdays and such. All right, good. So hopefully those thoughts, those words are racing through your head so that you can use them in your answers. And while your brain is racing a mile a minute, your examiner will ask this first question: how often do you go to a restaurant? So give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. How often do you go to a restaurant? Okay, again, nice full sentence answer. All right. So Arda says, I could say I go to a restaurant to have a fancy meal with my family every week, especially on weekends when we are not busy with other responsibilities. Last Sunday, we went to a steakhouse. It was quite expensive, but it was worth it. Very nice. Yeah, delicious steakhouse. Mamta says, I usually go to restaurants whenever I'm invited for a party, like a birthday or a wedding celebration. Mostly, I like to visit restaurants which are near to my home, not hometown. Hometown is strange, Mamta, because it means like you're actually leaving your city to go to another restaurant. Okay, buffet is a good word as well, Asma. Okay, Dovelet Beck says, not very often, only with my friends or girlfriend. I don't like restaurants around my town because they are overpriced. Okay, give me an example. Like a steak costs $100. Okay, so give me an example for that. All right. Farid says, it depends on the situation. If I have sufficient money, I will go to the restaurants every day, but it won't happen anytime soon. Don't use the it depends, students. So here's another tip, okay? This is kind of, okay, this is an important tip for all of you. So let's go here. Big tip, okay? Words to avoid, words and phrases to avoid during professional communication. And of course, that means IELTS. Okay, so you want to avoid the phrase, it depends. There are some situations where this is useful, but for most situations, it's not. These are the types of expressions that will have the examiner interrupt you, or will promote or encourage the examiner to interrupt you. Okay. Can you tell me some other phrases that you think are good to avoid? So what do you think are some other words or phrases that students often use which you should not use in your IELTS exam if you want to get those higher band scores? So you shouldn't use it depends. Just give the answer, okay? So I rarely go to restaurants, maybe once or twice a year, because I don't have a lot of money, and also I don't think the food is nutritious. The last time I went to a restaurant was 2019, February, before COVID, for a steak with a friend, okay? So what other? Thang Ha says things and stuff. Absolutely. Don't use the word things and stuff. These are zero value words. So always find the better noun than things and stuff. Stuff is the worst. Carolina says, for example. Yeah, absolutely. You can use the word really. I don't know why people are saying don't use the word really. There's nothing wrong with really. Really is a qualifying word, and it's used in many situations. So just give your example, right? All right. What else? Yeah, Rajveer is saying very good. So Rajveer says, don't use the word you know. Exactly. Um, Yeah, especially since they might not even be familiar with your culture, right? So sometimes students will be like, oh, you know, and then during Diwali, we do this. And it's like, I don't know. I didn't grow up in India, so I don't know what happens during Diwali. I know it's a festival of colors, I believe, and I know that people celebrate, I think, the struggle between good and bad, but I don't know much about it. I've never celebrated that particular event in my part of the world, right? So I don't know, okay? Muxlisa, you might use, as I said before, there could be places for that, okay? It's a festival of lights, YM says. Thank you. All right? Okay, so don't say you know. Your examiner doesn't know. Don't say you because you're not talking about your examiner, okay? And also, don't thank the examiner. So don't do that. I know students do that one as well. And the other one that you shouldn't do is for part two. This is where students do this one especially. So okay, so don't use this one either. All right. So, well, there are many different objects that I buy, but the one I want to talk about is okay, don't use these kinds of filler phrases. They're useless. Okay. Farid, instead of it depends, you should just give your answer. All right. So don't say it depends. Just give your answer. So again, the how often do you go to a restaurant? I wouldn't say it depends. I would just simply say, well, I seldom go to restaurants because I find that they are too expensive for my budget, and often the food is not nutritious. So I prefer to eat in. I'd say that I go to a restaurant once or twice a year. Last summer, I ate a burger with my friends at a diner. Okay. So again, just give the answer. Here we go, students. Repeat after me. So how often do you go to a restaurant? Well, I seldom go to restaurants because I find that they are too expensive for my budget. Often the food is not nutritious, so I prefer to eat in. I'd say that I go to a restaurant once or twice a year. Last summer, I ate a burger with my friends at a diner, and that's it. Okay? Seldom, and then I explain seldom. Okay, so once or twice a year. Okay. Reasons: because, one, too expensive, two, the food is not nutritious. Okay, so answer, explanation, example. All right, clarity, adverb of frequency. All right, quantitative measure, once or twice a year. So adverb of frequency, quantitative measure. Again, the goal here, especially for those high band scores, is professional communication. Okay, remember everyone, band 6 is fluent English. Band 7 is good English. Band 8 is very good English. And Band 9 is expert English. But what they're actually saying is Band 6 is fluent English. Band 7 is good communication. So I'm going to give you this as well because, again, I think students are not... the IELTS doesn't inform students clearly about this. Okay, so just another quick tip here. Okay, so Band 6 means fluent, so you can talk without stopping. So fluent English. Okay, Band 7, they'll say good English, but what they're actually saying is good communication. Okay, Band 9, or sorry, Band 8 is very good English. Okay, but what they're actually saying is very good communication. And Band 9 is expert English, but what they're actually saying is expert communication in English. Okay? Does everybody get that? So does everybody clearly understand this kind of important aspect of these higher band scores in the IELTS exam? Yeah, everybody's clear on that? Okay, so you're not just focusing on your English, but you're focusing on expert communication. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, here we go with the next question. What is your favorite restaurant? Okay, so I see some thumbs up. That's good. All right, Ritesh says, yes, sir. All right, so next question here. What is your favorite restaurant? Give me a nice full sentence. We're going to move along here. I want to get to some questions. So here we go. All right. All right, Mamta says, hot and spicy restaurants are my favorite because they provide good quality dishes as well as a nice ambient environment. Moreover, the waiters are really friendly. Very good. So hot and spicy, I guess, is the name of the restaurant, Mamta. That's great. Mi Yen says, my favorite restaurant is the Kichi Conveyor Buffet. It is a Japanese hot pot restaurant which has a fantastic conveyor belt that brings the food to the diners. Yeah, I love those, Mien. I love the conveyor belt Japanese restaurants. I've been to lots. We have them in Vancouver. I haven't seen any in Victoria, and I think it would actually be a great business in Victoria these days as well. Okay, Deepika says, my favorite one is Villa Shanti. It's a rooftop French restaurant located in one of the beach roads in Pondicherry. I love their soups. It's always a cut above the rest for me. Deepika, beautiful use of language, natural language, great expression there with a cut above the rest. In fact, there's even a pun there. Okay, so that's a very clever use of that idiom. I'm not sure if you did that on purpose because in a restaurant, you cut food, right? You cut the meat or you cut vegetables, so you cut food. So saying a cut above the rest is a very interesting application in the context of restaurants. Very clever, right? So I'll write that down because I like it. I like Deepika's. That was a really clever one. So something similar. My go-to restaurant is Milestones. because their pricing is quite reasonable and their breakfast menu is a cut above the rest. I go there to eat a delicious eggs Benedict every once in a while. All right. Yeah, so notice this idiom that Deepika was using. It's quite fun in this context because it's not only idiomatic language, but it's also a pun in this case. It kind of has a double meaning because it means it's better than the competition, but you're also cutting food. Okay, so cut above the rest means better than the competition. Okay, so that's kind of a nice one. All right, cut above the rest. All right, keep that one in mind. And that's a pun in this case. And yeah, students, examiners, if you had me as your examiner, I will catch that. So I will catch that idiom and the pun, and that will impress me. I will be like, oh, wow, okay. I'm not sure if the student did that on purpose, but that was a very well-placed idiom. Okay. All right. Let's go to this one here. I'm just going to jump right to the end here because I love this question and I want to get your answers. Okay. So here we go. Let's do this conditional one. If you could own a restaurant, what kind of food would it serve? Okay. So if you could own a restaurant, what kind of food would it serve? Now in this one, definitely use the condition in your answer. So answer the question with a conditional. Okay. If you could own a restaurant, what kind of food would it serve? Give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. Chinyeres, previous answers. Chicken Republic happens to be my favorite restaurant. Their chicken and soups are really scrumptious with a wonderful environment. Chicken Republic, I'll have to try that out when I see one. Okay. Ariane says, well, it's a pricey multi-cuisine restaurant called Bird's Eye. It's situated in the center of Dhaka. It's a rooftop restaurant. Ariane, nice. If I'm in Dhaka, I'll check that out. Okay, while I'm reading those, give me an answer to this one here. Okay. Amu says, my favorite one is Axon, which is near my home. In this place, I get all of my favorite dishes, especially South Indian cuisines, which is very yummy and served at a low cost. Very nice English, Amu. Served at a low cost. That's beautiful phrasing. Okay. All right. Again, so if you could own a restaurant, what kind of food would it serve? Okay. Give me a nice full sentence answer. Tutul Ahmed says, if I'm the owner, I would definitely provide good, nutritious, and reasonably priced food. And what would it be? What kind of food? What cuisine would it be? Okay. Venkatesh says, I would serve authentic Japanese food and Indian cuisine as well. Okay, so Japanese and Indian. Now you would have a difficult kitchen. Those are two very different cuisines. It would be a difficult kitchen setup for sure. Amanpreet says, that's an interesting question. I always wanted to have a restaurant of my own, which would serve healthy and nutritious food at affordable costs. Okay, so what, like vegetarian, vegan food, seafood? So give me some details here. Chung Dui says, if I could own a restaurant somehow, the kind of food it would serve that I think of on the spot is authentic Vietnamese noodles. For example, beef bo, bun po hue, or a rice noodle dish like a pho, maybe for some noodles, right? There are lots of pho restaurants here in Victoria. All right. Given the chance to open my own dining establishment, I would opt for a high end French cuisine restaurant that would serve incredible tasting dishes like roast duck served with some of the finest French wines that money can buy. It would be not only about eating, but about having an incredible, or let's say amazing, experience. All right. I'm just making this up, just like you. Okay. And I'm using the condition. So repeat after me. If you could own a restaurant, what kind of food would it serve? Why? Given the chance to open my own dining establishment, I would opt for a high-end French cuisine restaurant that would serve incredible tasting dishes like roast duck, served with some of the finest French wines that money can buy. It would be not only about eating, but about having an amazing experience. And having said that, students, I hope that all of you have had an amazing experience learning English and preparing for the IELTS speaking section with me here in this class. If you like this class and you want to see a lot of HD videos with me teaching lessons, go to our websites and for academic IELTS, check out aehelp.com and sign up for the premium package. It's well worth it. It doesn't cost a lot, especially compared to the IELTS exam. All you have to do is click that big red button. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. And there's tons of materials there for you, okay? For the general IELTS, it's the green background, okay? We have two separate websites. It's not just me. There's a team of people behind me that are awesome, like Carolina, who's moderating this chat, like Eldar, that some of you might have communicated with, and many others. I hope everybody has had a good time again, and I wish to see you all tomorrow. Tomorrow there will be writing and there will be reading, so hopefully you all show up, and we'll continue on with English and communication. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from beautiful Victoria, where we have very rainy weather in the fall these days. And I hope that all of you have a fantastic rest of your day. Much love to all of you, wherever you are in this incredible world. Bye for now.